At the University of Miami, Jimmy Johnson made the Hurricanes a national powerhouse. But now in Dallas, J.J. tries to revive the struggling Cowboys. Drafting $1 million Aikman was a future move, but the inexperienced Cowboys are still looking for their first win in '89 and their first victory ever under new owner Jerry Jones. The excitement is back in New York Giant football. And behind quarterback Phil Simms, they have the best record in the NFC East. Lawrence Taylor, NFL's all-time sack leader, continues his aggressive trademark. Early season success has even allowed head coach Bill Parcells to have fun. Joe Morrison and Fran Tarkenton were Giants the last time New York started 3-0. It's been 25 years since the Cowboys started 0-4, and today they hope history won't repeat. From Texas Stadium in Irving, it's the undefeated New York Giants against the winless Dallas Cowboys. NFC Eastern Division battle this afternoon. It may be the 1st of October, but August-like temperatures have returned to Texas. It is warm and muggy. 94 degrees as we kick it off. Winds out of the south at 10 to 15. And the forecast is for sunny and hot throughout the remainder of the afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Verne Lundquist, and welcome to Texas Stadium. Given the way these two teams have played throughout September, one might expect a lopsided game this afternoon, and indeed that might happen. But New York Giant coach Bill Parcells said he is very, very concerned about this game. My partner is Terry Bradshaw. And Terry, were you surprised that Parcells expressed that kind of concern?
Well, what he actually said was, I'm scared to death. And we didn't really believe him, to be honest with you, so we called in Phil Simms, and Phil Simms says, we're scared to death. We don't play well here in Texas Stadium, number one. And number two, hey, if you guys forgot what happened last week when Pittsburgh beat the Vikings, he said, we're scared to death. Well, today, Phil Simms is going to be a little scared, but if he is watching, the Cowboys are going to blitz him, Verne, and they're going to blitz him often, and if he's sharp passing the football, he can pile up the points by throwing that baby deep.
The Cowboys throughout September and going 0-3 have been inept. They've had defensive problems, but they pale in comparison to the lack of offense that they've displayed. Now, what do you expect them to try and do today?
Well, there's a lot of talk here in Dallas. How come Herschel's not running with the football? They want to see Herschel Walker run the football. Herschel says, I want to run the football more. So today, get this, Herschel Walker, I expect him to run the football 25, 30 times a game. Even on third down, they've been taking him out. They're going to leave him in today. If they're successful, Troy Aikman will have a good game because the running game is working. Herschel will be carrying the ball.
Well, we'll find out early, Terry. The Cowboys won the toss, and that'll mean Raul Alegre kicking off. The Cowboys have lost 14 of their last 15. Their last home win more than a year ago. And they have waved off the kick. The whistle blew just as Alegre approached the football, so we'll have a restart. Dallas's last win was here in week 15, or on the road rather, last year at Washington. And their last win at home, September 25th of 1988, when they defeated Atlanta 26-20. The Giants have always had problems in Texas Stadium. Their record here, 4 wins since the stadium opened in 1971. And in fact, they have never won back-to-back games here. They did win here last year on a controversial 12-10 victory when Pat Haggerty inadvertently awarded what should have been a touchback and made it a safety on the opening kickoff. And now we're getting set to start it again. Fred Wyatt is the referee today. The Giants come in 3-0, leading the NFC East. The Cowboys 0-3, and they have not played well in any of the 3. They did have a lead they lost in Atlanta in week 2. Here's Alegre's kick. James Dixon goes over and decides to run it out. He is to the 10, tries to bounce off a tackle and can't, and is down by Renee Thompson, a young man who played his high school football here in Dallas. Troy Aikman will be the starting quarterback, and the offensive line, which has been a bit of a problem. Tuanay Newton, Bob White replaces the injured Tom Rafferty at center. That'll be a key. Crawford Kerr, Kevin Gogan on the right side, and the tight end is Steve Folsom. He'll alternate with Thornton Chandler. In the backfield, Walker Broderick Sargent, Kelvin Martin, and Michael Irvin, the wide receivers. On passing downs, look for the Cowboys today to go with 3 wide receivers. The third will be Dixon and 2 tight ends. The second will be Thornton Chandler. First and 10 from the 12. A handoff to Herschel Walker. He hurdles and gets it out near the 15-yard line. A gain of about 3.5. Gary Reasons and Terry Kennard make the stop. Defensively for the New York Giants, John Washington, Eric Howard, and Leonard Marshall up front. And the linebackers, Lawrence Taylor, Johnny Cooks, Gary Reasons replaces Steve DiOssi, who's injured, the former Cowboy, and Carl Banks. And the secondary, they've had pass defense problems this year. Mark Collins, Perry Williams, Kennard, and the rookie Myron Guyton. And on passing downs, Johnson comes in as a linebacker, and Greg Cox, number 38. They try Walker for the second time, and he gets a modest gain out near the 17-yard line, and Carl Banks, number 58, makes the stop.
One of the things, Verne, we can look for today a lot from the Giants is a lot of blitzing up the middle, because the Giants are expecting the Cowboys to run the football now that after 3 games they have not been doing it well. And if you're going to run Herschel says, I run the football best straight up the middle. The Giants know this, so they'll blitz their middle linebackers, one of the inside middle linebackers, up the middle to stop Walker.
On 3rd and long, they disdain the shotgun, and they do go with the 3 wide receivers and the 2 tight ends. Motion from Kelvin Martin. Aikman on a half roll, lobs it deep, tipped away by Mark Collins, incomplete. And the Cowboys will have to punt. Intended for Michael Irvin.
It's a simple little out route, a down. Notice down, leans now, moves outside, and there's the angle. See, the angle really for Aikman is to bring his receiver Irvin back to the sideline, but the problem that the quarterback Aikman had, Verne, was that he was rolling out, didn't square his shoulders up, and didn't get enough zip on the football.
Mike Saxon will punt. He's having a good year, second in the league, and Dave Meggett is having a sensational year, the rookie for the Giants, and he will return it. He has returned 10 punts for a 13-yard average and has 2 in excess of 50-yard returns that have been called back by penalty.
Yeah, 55-yarder last week, and Parcells was telling us when we were trying to
delay offense, 5 yards, 4th down.
When we were trying to talk about the players in the offense, he kept bringing up Meggett. Said, boy, you got to watch this number 30. This guy is unbelievable. Get him in the ball. You know, he catches those punts, catches those kickoffs. He's amazing. Look at the average. 19.2 is tremendous on kickoff returns.
That is kickoff returns, and of course this is punt return that he's being asked to do right now, and he's got a 13-yard average on punt returns. Saxon's punt.
Beauty.
Meggett at the 38. Not much of a return this time. Good downfield coverage led by Bill Bates, the captain of the special teams, who is playing with an injured groin muscle. And a nice job by Bill Bates. Here comes Phil Simms after that 51-yard punt. And offensively, Simms will be joined up front by Eric Moore, replacing John Elliott for the second week. Roberts now moves to guard. Bart Oates, Damian Johnson, and Riesenberg, the tight end Bavaro, in the backfield. Otis Anderson having a terrific start to 1989. Carthen, the wide receivers Turner and Manuel, and Ingram and Baker will come in on obvious passing downs. 1st and 10, and Simms will throw a moderately deep pass to Mark Bavaro. That's a 1st down, New York at the Cowboy 41-yard line. Tackle made by Gene Lockhart, number 56. Bavaro, who did not catch a pass last week, opens up for the Giants and gets one here. Defensively, Jones, Willie Broughton, Dean Hamill are the tackles. Jim Jeffcoat at right end. He has been a nemesis for the Giants in years past. Burton Lockhart and Randy Shannon, a rookie. And in the secondary, Walls, Ron Francis starts for injured Robert Williams, Ray Horton, Albritton Hendricks, and a rookie Eric Brown come in on passing downs. Maurice Carthen comes left, breaks a tackle of Jim Jeffcoat, and that has been a serious problem for the Cowboys this year. And then Ron Francis finally gets up with him.
Yeah, but Jeffcoat did an outstanding job. He got penetration, and when he got the penetration, the guards couldn't knock him off. He forced the back deep, and by bringing the back deep, he allowed his coverage to come out of their support up to make the stop. So Jeffcoat did his job that time by forcing the back deep.
Be a 2nd down and 7. Zeke Moad comes in as an extra tight end. That's Moad in motion. Handoff up the middle. Otis Anderson, and he drives inside the 35 near the 32-yard line. Willie Broughton and Ray Horton make the tackle. Washington beats New Orleans. Those of you who watched that game saw Morton Anderson misfire from inside the 40 with 2.5 to go in the game. That would have put New Orleans on top. Denver has tied up Cleveland in the fourth quarter now. We have no score. Third down and short. Pittsburgh about to win its second in a row. Anderson and Carthen in the backfield. Odessa Turner in motion. Hand off Carthen. Got the first down inside the 30 to the 28. Ron Burton, number 57.
If you want to run the football against the Cowboys, and this is something the Giants are going to do all day, one of the things you want to do is attack the tackles. And I'll tell you why. Broughton is a guy that they picked up out of a used car lot selling used cars in Florida. And the other guy, Hamill, was a guy that picked up in a trade from the Washington Redskins. So those are two guys that are new to the system, this new attack system of the defense of the Cowboys. But their tackles are young, haven't been here a long time.
First down and 10, New York inside the 30 at the 28. Cowboys adjust. Hand off deep on the sprint draw. It goes to Otis Anderson. He's caught and dropped for a moderate gain, if any. Otis at the age of 32 years old and really having a terrific year.
He is. They're having some fun with him. Parcells in particular. Last week they called him Red Dog.
Yeah, Old Red.
Lewis Tillman from Mississippi, he asked him, he said, what do you got down there? He said, well, we got an old dog named Red. So they call O.J. Anderson Old Red, and today this new name is Frazier because of some plastic breeches he was wearing last week in practice, like Frazier when he was trying to lose weight.
Second down, 10. Lionel Manuel starts in motion. Cowboys show a blitz look. They bring 5. Sims, a lot of time over the middle to Manuel on that little circle route, and he is popped by Ron Francis. And that's short of the first down at the 22.
Well, that was a blitz by the Cowboys, and the thing that's so unique about that blitz is normally you would go deep and try to make the score. But that time the coverage by the corners was outstanding, and Sims had to come off the deep route and then go to the crossing route and hit Manuel.
Ron Francis gets the start at corner now in place of Robert Williams. The Cowboys lost Robert Williams and Ken Norton last week to injury. Third and 4. 3 tight ends in. That's Howard Cross, number 87. Otis Anderson, no sir, he didn't get it. We're going to see Allegre. Ed Too Tall Jones. And if given official credit for that, is going to register his 1,000th tackle in the National Football League for the Cowboys. 1,000 career tackles, playing today in his 212th game. He's never missed one because of injury.
That's like a quarterback throwing for 200 touchdown passes. So what they should do is stop the game and give Ed the football. Ed ought to get the football after 1,000 tackles.
I have a feeling that somebody in the press box is going to be on the phone down right now, and they're going to get that thing and pull it out of play after the field goal. 37-yard attempt for Allegre. He was 4 of 5 last week. It's good. So Raul Allegre connects from 37 to give the Giants an early 3-0 lead. 8:34 to go, and they drive down on their first possession of the ball game. Jimmy Johnson. Interesting, Terry. He said that in assessing the talent he had, they may have been a little disillusioned by what happened in minicamp when he took over this year.
Yeah, he said our guys look real quick in shorts and T-shirts. He said, but when we put the pads on and got out to California for training camp, he said we realized that, you know, maybe we made some mistakes in getting rid of some of the other, like Diassi, for instance, who was traded to the Giants. Maybe we made some mistakes too early that we made judgment on these players and released them because these guys didn't look nearly as quick once we got them out in California and got them in training camp.
Raul Allegre just took over a tie for 3rd place among the all-time Giant place kickers. And guess who he tied? Patrick Aloysius Gorgeous Summerall, who was down in New Orleans today. Both with 59 field goals. Gogolak and Danilo lead the Giant kickers, but Summerall now has to share 3rd place with Raul Allegre.
Yeah, go to Gogolak. If my memory is very good, this Gogolak was the first soccer-style kicker to come into the National Football League, and right here with the New York Football Giants.
Pete and Charlie, remember that? Both of them, the brothers. Here's Allegre. Darryl Clack fumbles it. spins and is down at the 18-yard line. Flag is down in the vicinity of the tackle.
Illegal block in the back, number 53, at the distance, first down.
While they mark that off, let's go back to New York and find out what's going on with the Broncos and the Browns. Brent?
Verne, this for the game. Last play, Matt Barr sets up a 48-yarder, and it splits the uprights. There are no unbeatens left in the AFC. 16-13, Browns over the Broncos. Back to Verne.
Okay, Brent, I don't think that's going to be a full measure of revenge for the losses that the Browns have suffered to Denver in Cleveland, but satisfactory nevertheless.
Bud Carson's certainly happy.
Aikman looks for a screen pass. Herschel Walker. He's got Crawford Kerr in front. Kerr gets the block. Walker with a juke, and then he's out of bounds with a first down at the 18-yard line.
One of the things that Jimmy Johnson told us was that we're going to do a lot of screening. Now, they will use the screen for two reasons. Number one, the Giants play a lot of two-zone, a lot of zone coverage, and screens are slow developing, and zones are ideally set up for screens. Number two, we can get the ball in Herschel Walker's hands with screens, and Aikman will get his confidence as each screen he completes.
First down, Cowboys trailing 3-0. Split backs this time. Sargent directly behind, and Roderick Sargent, who gets the handoff and goes left out near the 20-yard line. Roderick Sargent, who missed the first game with an injury, came in as a free agent, had played with the Cardinals for a couple of years, and now he is replaced on the passing down. Raul, it's warm, but please, this is a family show.
Taping that baby up, isn't he? Got a little growing there.
It'll be second down. 94 degrees at kickoff here on October 1st. And they do have huge fans down on the Giant bench. Sprint draw. Herschel Walker. Well, Terry, they said they were going to run him. You asked Herschel if he really believed they were going to run him a lot today.
He said, I believed him after the first game. And the second game, he said, come on, man, I'm not crazy. You know, you're looking at Walker. He said he's mad. He said, I'm mad at myself, Terry, because I'm not running hard. I'm running kind of tentatively. And he said, that's not Herschel Walker's style. So Wednesday, he called his offensive lineman in, had a big talk with him, and said, we got to come off the ball. We got to pound. That's how you earn respect in the National Football League. I want you guys to pound. Don't allow the Giants to penetrate. Hold them at the line. I'll use my speed and power, and I'll break tackles and get the yardage.
3rd and 5. Prevent defense in for the Giants. They've got Taylor over center. That's a new wrinkle today. And he went over Bob White. There's the pass incomplete. Lawrence Taylor, and this is something they've not done, but Bob White is playing in place of the injured Tom Rafferty. So the Giants are lining Lawrence Taylor up over the center.
Yeah, they think it's a mismatch. You got a quick Lawrence Taylor against a inexperienced center. They think that's a mismatch, but look at the job. All of a sudden, the center White turned Taylor over the right guard Kerr. That is not a mismatch because Crawford Kerr is one strong guard. So they double team Taylor. If they do that all day, Verne, look for someone from the outside to come free.
Here's Meggett for his second punt return. Mike Saxon back on 4th down. So look for that Taylor move on passing downs this afternoon until it loses its effectiveness, and it wasn't very effective then. Here's Meggett. Boy, he'll scoot. He's out to the 39, maybe the 40-yard line officially. Dave Meggett out of Towson State. Randy Shannon makes the tackle, a 49-yard punt, and 11 on the return for Meggett for the second time. Here comes Fred Wyatt as a flag has fallen down way back at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, those low punts by Saxton and with the nose turning over, the ball gets down quicker. The coverage, it really puts a lot of pressure on the coverage when you have a guy as good as Meggett. So it's important that Saxton in punting today kick the ball high and let it float to really allow his coverage to get down and make the tackle.
That's a long sprint for Fred Wyatt in this heat.
Number 94, ineligible downfield, re-kick, 4th down.
That was Randy Shannon, the man who made the tackle. He was one of Jimmy Johnson's players at Miami, an 11th round draft choice.
Young kid, a rookie, eager. which is only natural. Young guy out here, got a chance, knows he's one of these guys that, you know, in the future of the Cowboys, if he's going to fit into the scheme, he's going to have to make some plays on special team, and a little over-eagerness cost the Cowboys.
Dave Meggett, who started his collegiate career at Morgan State, where he was a captain as a sophomore, transferred to Towson State, where he was a captain as a senior. That's a rarity in the NCAA.
They probably played a heavier schedule.
Meggett, and this one works to the Cowboys' advantage after the Giants took the penalty.
Yeah, but did you notice what Saxton got that ball way up in the air. It floated and allowed the coverage to get down under. When you do that, a guy like Meggett doesn't have a chance.
6:20 to go first quarter. Giants have a 3-0 lead and the football. Raul Alegre with a 37-yard field goal has given New York that 3-point lead. It came on the opening drive by the Giants. This is their second. The Cowboys have not crossed the 20-yard line yet. Giants trying to win for the second time in a row for the first time ever here. 1st and 10. Moat starts in motion. Sims straight drop back, looks left, goes across the middle. Bavaro stolen. That's an interception at the 45. Taken right away by Ron Burton. And that is the first interception for the Cowboys this year. They have been suffering by a lack of turnovers, and they get a big one from Ron Burton.
One of the first things you do as a receiver, you're taught to reach out, grab the ball, and pull it into your body quickly. Notice a fine pass. There's the quick pass, little hook by Bavaro. He reaches out with his hands. Now, I see it. He had to reach for the ball. That allowed Burton, 57, to come back in, get his hand up underneath, and take the ball away from Bavaro.
One year ago, and going 3-13 for the season, the Cowboys were dead last in number of interceptions. They picked off only 10. They did not have one this season until that grab by Ron Burton. Now here comes Troy Aikman, the Cowboys 1st and 10 at the 45, and Darrell Johnston, the second-round draft choice from Syracuse, opens at fullback. He and Herschel Walker behind Aikman, and the wide receiver split left and right. No blitz. Aikman looks right, now looks left, comes back to the right. Has a man open, but Aikman will choose to run it and goes out of bounds, and no flag. Thought we might get a clip, but there wasn't one.
He's young. He has young legs, but he'll learn that when he's scrambling like that, I'm going to give him 5 years and a couple of broken bones. But in 5 years and 2 broken bones, when Aikman scrambles out to the right, he will look in the end zone first of all, because that's where the defense always gives up. They come up, you get the touchdowns. Number 2, always look across the field for your back receiver coming across. That time he had his man Martin wide open. He did not see him because he didn't look back.
2nd down and 9, all of that for a 1-yard run. Herschel Walker. Johnson gets a block on Carl Banks, but then Mark Collins does a nice job of coming up and making the tackle on Walker.
Walker's wife, Cindy, told him, he asked him, how am I running? She said, you're not running strong at all. And when Walker sees that run on the tapes tomorrow, he's not going to like it either, because the thing he does not want to do, Verne, and he said this, I'm going outside and I'm not turning my hips square to the line of scrimmage and I'm losing my power. He did exactly what he didn't want to do. He turned his hips away from the line of scrimmage. He lost all his power and he just bounced outside for a half-a-yard gain.
Tickle me. He said, I'm an ugly runner.
He is an ugly runner, and that's not, you know, that's not bad. He's ugly 9-1, you know.
3rd and 7. And 2 down linemen for the Giants. They rush 3. Aikman steps up in the pocket. He's got some room. And that'll be close for the first down. Again, he had a man open deep, Terry.
And a man open in the end zone.
But he did pick up the first down.
He had Dixon open in the end zone for the post, but once again, he got out of the pocket and he ran for the first down, so that's okay. He saw the sideline, he saw what he wanted, and he got the first down. That's good. But still in all, later on in his career, he'll learn now, look upfield, because that's when you got the big plays.
He does get the first down. Johnson and Banks with the tackle. First down at the 34-yard line. 3-0. New York leads it. Walker blocked from Irvin and tackled at the 20-yard line by Mark Collins. 3rd tackle for Collins. 5th run for Herschel. He's got 24 yards.
Beautiful job of running by Walker that time, but the difference was, Verne, he went straight ahead, kept his hips square, had the power. When the defensive back came up to make the tackle, Walker had the power, knocked him down, and then got extra yardage. That's what Walker wants to run. That's what he wants to do.
That's another first down at the 20. It's a 3-0 Giant lead. This is the Cowboys' only threat thus far in the ball game. They had to punt the first 2 times they had it. High formation. Cornerbacks for the Giants up to press in the line. The handoff to Walker. Does his spin move. Spins again and picks up 4, maybe 5. Down to the 15-yard line. Terry Kennard, number 43, makes the stop.
If you talk to the Giants linebackers, the one thing they'll tell you, if you talk to them individually, when we play against Walker, what we want to do is hit him, hold him up, hang on, and wait for the cavalry. Wait for the guys to come and join us, because they know that when he's running good, one guy cannot arm tackle him and bring him down.
Pepper Johnson said yesterday, you never want to let Herschel feel like he is attacking you. You always want to be the aggressor. 2nd down and 5. Walker again. They have fulfilled their promise. They have been running Herschel early and often.
I had a back named Rocky Blyer that was complaining to me in Milwaukee that he wasn't able to run the football. I said, you never let me run it. And so he made me mad. So I ran a little trap and he got 15 yards. I ran another little trap, he got 9. Another one 6. Another one 4. We went 90 yards and I ran him till his tongue fell out on the ground. He was begging for mercy. I said, tough break. Then I ran him again till he scored, made a hero out of it. He ought to thank me. He had 176 yards rushing, but he couldn't play for about a month after that.
3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. This is the new wrinkle the Cowboys employ. You may not see him in the shotgun much today. They hand it to Herschel Walker, and he drives. His knee was down. Now let's see where the ball is marked. That'll be close for the first down at the 11.
Walker takes the ball like no other back on the Cowboys. The backs for the Cowboys are taught to turn your hips sideways and run sideways. Walker does not like to do that. He went to him and said, I don't like to do that. I want to turn my hips and have them facing. Notice how he goes out. There's the catch. But notice his hips are square to the line. That allows him to turn. 4th down, they're going for it.
They have not kicked a field goal yet this year. They will not try one now. They haven't tried one all year. They've got 4th and about a foot. Walker with double tight ends up in front of him. He is behind Aikman. He gets the handoff and comes right and drives for the first down. There is the aggression of Herschel Walker. Because the contact, Terry, came behind the line.
Came behind the line, but he was going forward, and he said, if we're going to earn respect as an offensive unit, we've got to be able to run the football. We must pound it, and we'll earn the respect. There's the hit by Cooks, 98, and then there's the power by Walker. Second effort got the first down.
9 carries for 34 yards. If you can imagine, he had only 128 yards coming in 3 games. Straight back, Aikman with time across the middle, dropped at the 7.
Okay, how smart do you have to be? If you're that close to the goal line and you got a young quarterback and you've got a great running back who can catch the football, you don't put one guy on him to cover him. No, you don't do that. You take 2 guys to put on him. But the problem with a young quarterback, he sees the outside coverage. He doesn't see the inside coverage. That time 2 men covered Walker, doggone near intercepted.
2nd down and goal from just inside the 10. Aikman is 1 for 4. He's been intercepted 6 times this year, most in the league. Handoff, Walker to the 5, to the 3-yard line. Myron Guyton, the 8th round draft choice out of Eastern Kentucky, made the tackle. 1:15 to go. First quarter.
This is the old version of the counter gap by the Redskins. Notice to your right of your screen, Nate Newton, 61, is the left guard, and Tuanay, 71, are the tackle. Look at the hole that's created by these men pulling in the down block of Gogan. The right tackle was just outstanding. Huge hole that time for Walker to run.
And again, 3rd and goal. They will go with 3 wide receivers. Dixon goes left. Martin and Irvin come to the right. And Thornton Chandler goes tight to the right, leaving Walker the only setback. Herschel Walker did not get in. He's down at the 1. Now will they try the field goal to tie it up, or will they go for the touchdown? Final 30 seconds, and it's going to be Roger Ruzek for the first time this season.
Johnson told us yesterday when we were going over the kicking game, he said, hey, I think I got a good kicker. I think I have a good kicker. I just haven't seen him kick.
Ruzek has caught a pass this year, and he also punted last week in the absence of an injured Mike Saxon, but this will be his first field goal attempt of the year. 19 yards. Saxon is the holder. And Tom Rafferty is not there to center, so Dave Wydell is the new center now on punts, but they will wait and go to the other end of the field. As the quarter has come to an end. That's the end of the first quarter with our score. Giants 3, Cowboys nothing. It is a gorgeous afternoon, but it's muggy. It's very warm in Texas. 94 degrees at kickoff. The Giants and the Cowboys before less than a sellout crowd, and they're on the sunny end of the field now as Roger Ruzek gets set to try his first field goal of 1989. Saxon will hold it, and this could tie it up at 3-3. Ruzek signed as a free agent 3 years ago and had a terrific first year for the Cowboys and then slumped a little bit last season. Saxon will hold. 19-yard effort is good, and we are tied at 3. Troy Aikman on the bench, and they're paying some attention to his left-hander. They were. Interesting young man, Terry. I know it was your first chance to meet him this week.
Yeah, he is. He's got his head, you know, he's got everything under control. He says he's disappointed in the way he has played, but he understands he's got a young team. There's a lot of pressure. He says he has to struggle each week with his confidence, and he said that's the one real thing right now I'm having to work on. I've got to keep my confidence up, and that's hard to do.
Left index finger, he's got it buried in a cup of ice now.
As long as it's his left index finger, he can play with that. He's right-handed.
Steve Walsh, who played for the first time this season last year, of course, was Jimmy Johnson's quarterback at Miami and the first choice in the supplemental draft this year. So the Cowboys, in using that draft choice to take Walsh, forfeit their draft choice next year. And there's been some public speculation here about how that could be the #1 choice in the draft again next year.
Yeah, but they've lost it.
Right.
So,
it's Steve Walsh.
So who, you know, since Cowboys have given it up, of course, Walsh, they very well could trade to the people that have the worst one. Obviously would need a quarterback, wouldn't you think? Unless it's these Cowboys.
Ingram and Dave Meggett back to return the kick. Roger Ruzek approaching 3-3 ball game. This is Dave Meggett. That's a free ball and will go out of bounds and come back. Word from the bench officially.
Ball goes on the 35, first down.
Sprained left finger for Troy Aikman, and he will be back, we are told.
See, the index on the left finger has no bearing whatsoever on him taking snaps because the right hand bears all the pressure. The left hand is simply a guide tool, so there's no problem if it's not, even if it's broken. And he was your man, he could play with that if he can handle pain.
Phil Simms, who is the leading passer in the NFL this week, according to their complicated formula. The handoff to Otis Anderson, and he's out near the 39-yard line.
Anderson having a tremendous year, Verne. With Morris going down, Anderson coming in, and Parcells admitted that I'm a little concerned because I've never had to rely on an older back. Anderson is 32 years old. I've never had to rely on an older back. And in today's game, one of the things that may compound the age of Anderson is the humidity and the heat on the field.
Otis needs 17 yards now to become the 8th all-time rusher in the league. Blitz threatened by the Cowboys. And here comes the blitz. Simms reads it. Cooley. It's knocked in the air. Intercepted. And Phil Simms can't believe it. It was not Too Tall Jones this time who knocked it up. Jones has done that twice. But this time, it's Eugene Lockhart.
Right of your screen, this is Shannon 94 on the right. That's just a linebacker. That's just a linebacker coming. That's a normal rush. But Lockhart gets in the face of Simms, gets up, jumps up, puts his hands high, and makes the interception. The concern was if Sim threw to the right today was too tall Jones, and if they had an option, they were telling Field, don't throw to the right. Too tall knocks him down and intercepts him.
Twice before, Too Tall has batted passes into the hands of Jim Jeffcoat for Cowboy touchdowns in this series. 1st and 10. Aikman back in there. Play fake on 1st down. Pass right side. What a catch. Did he hold on? I think they're going to say that, nope, one official ruled him down, another said incomplete pass.
Well, the ground cannot cause a fumble. So let's see. There's the end cut. There's the effort. There's the catch. There's the hit.
I think that should be a catch.
That's a catch. That's a catch.
I think that's a catch.
Yeah, that's a catch. You got to look at that, baby. That's a catch. That's a
They are looking at it.
That's a bad call.
They're looking at it right now. That's the same angle we just had.
Yeah, if anything, you would say that that's closer to being a fumble, but it's not a fumble because he's down, the ball's down, the players are down, and then the ball rolls out. So you'd have to review that, and you'd have to say that that's a completion. I don't know what they're going to say, but if they don't give it a Cowboy completion, they've made a terrible, terrible decision.
Fritz Graff is the replay official. Bill Parcells is looking on.
After further review.
After further review, the play stands incomplete. 2nd down.
The only possible conclusion one can draw is that business about inconclusive whatevers.
Verne, that's just a lousy call.
Yep.
I know they're listening to me over there. You guys made a terrible call then.
2nd down and 10.
You got to stop protecting the people on the field.
At the 35, 2nd and 10. Herschel Walker driven down at the 35-yard line. John Washington, number 73, makes the tackle.
Yeah, anytime you can get Herschel wide like that, Vernon, force him to spin. That's his move to come back inside. It's the spin move. When you get a power back spinning, he loses his power. Washington, the left end, comes up and nails Walker. Good play by Washington.
3rd down and 10. Martin, Michael Irvin come to this side. James Dixon goes to the other side. And Ray Alexander comes in, so they will use the shotgun now with 4 wide receivers and Herschel Walker, and the Giants show a blitz look. They're sending 4. Screen pass. Incomplete, almost picked off. It'll be 4th down. Intended for Herschel Walker.
Yeah, so you can't run screens against man coverage, and I'm going to tell you why. Because every man that's eligible to catch a pass has a defender covering him man to man. So when you set up to throw the ball on a screen, you're not fooling them. They're not dropping off in zones. They're coming up tight to cover their receiver. Therefore, a young quarterback like Aikman must be able to read the coverage, look at the corners, determine if it's man. If it's man, audible out of the screen and go to a man route.
Roger Ruzek will try a 53-yard field goal out of Saxon's hold on 4th and 10. No wind, and this from 53 yards away. He kicked a 55-yarder in preseason. That's got distance, no good, wide right. So the Giants hold. It remains 3-3, 13:04 to go, 1st half. Gary Reasons and Lawrence Taylor among those on the Giant defensive unit trying not to wilt in the heat of Texas Stadium. It is in the 90s, and the Giants have turned it over twice, but they still are tied 3-3 with the Dallas Cowboys. And Phil Simms and the Giants bring it up again, 1st down and 10 from their own 35. Verne Lundquist, Terry Bradshaw from Texas Stadium. Week 4. Everson Walls, Lionel Manuel out to the right side. Everson told Lionel Manuel, my nemesis. Manuel has had big days in the past against the Cowboys. Simms looks for him, finds him across the middle. There's the little crossing route that Everson said gives him fits.
Crossing route is the hardest route to cover as a defensive back, because automatically you have to respect the move and then you have to react. And Walls 24 says, I have to lay off of Manuel. I cannot play him tight because every time I've played him tight, he's caught the ball in front of me. I try to make the big interception of the tackle. He spins off and makes a touchdown out of it.
Both games last year against the Cowboys, Manuel had in excess of 100 yards and catches. Play fake, Sims with a bump. Goes across the middle, caught. Bavaro, the tight end, first down at the 32-yard line. Jack Del Rio, who has replaced Ron Burton now, makes the catch. That's a gain of 18 and a gain of 16 on successive plays.
Verne, Phil Simms did such an outstanding job of pumping the ball that Albritton, the strong safety, came completely out of his support, and down the left sideline, Odessa Turner with no one 20 yards inside of him.
34 yards in the last two plays. Manuel in motion. Handoff on the draw play. Otis Anderson skips his way down near the 25-yard line. Randy Shannon makes the tackle.
I kind of see a trend now setting. I thought the Giants at first came out and tried to establish run, and a couple little short swing hook to their tight end. And now we're seeing on first down the passing of Simms. You'll see this more and more. Short little passing and then the run. So I think we'll see the pass take over the run as opposed to the run taking over the pass.
Second down and 5. Report from the Cowboy bench that Troy Aikman has been taken to the locker room to look at that left index finger. Here comes the blitz. Simms goes left, almost picked off. Flag down. Ron Francis with Odessa Turner. Francis, a former starter. And now let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, this is a great route by Odessa Turner. The thing
Pass interference, number 36. First down.
Watch Francis go to the outside. Now Odessa comes back, and look what happens. For Francis to be able to knock the ball away, he has to run through Turner, the receiver. You can't do that. Got there before the ball did. That's personal foul.
4 penalties for the Cowboys, none for the Giants. The Cowboys have been penalized 27 times in the first 3 games. They have averaged 9 a game. First and 10 from the 15. 3-3 ball game. Simms, 3-step drop. In the right side at the 7-yard line. Catch made in front of Everson Walls. Odessa Turner, number 83, makes the grab.
Turner on the outside. 83 Odessa. Notice how far off Walls is. All Walls is doing actually, and that's good technique by the quarterback Walls, is he's protecting the goal line. He says, all right, sure, if I play him tight, if I play Turner tight, he makes the catch. Once again, the breaks the tackle, he's in. I'll go ahead, keep everything in front of me.
Saw that. The Cowboys have not given up a touchdown pass this year. It's a 3-3 ball game. 2nd and 2, the handoff Otis Anderson. It'll be 1st and goal. Jack Del Rio, acquired on waivers from Kansas City, makes the tackle. And the Giants will have a 1st and goal now, and Maurice Carthen comes in to the lineup along with Howard Cross. There's Jack Del Rio, one of a multitude of new players. He started out his career with the New Orleans Saints and then went to Kansas City. Since September 1st, the Cowboys have made 29 personnel moves. Players coming and going. 29 in a month. 1st and goal. Anderson, no. Bounces left, still no. Albritton.
Yeah, Albritton coming up inside, saw that. The running game of the Giants, Verne, is very simple. You will see William Roberts, the left guard, and Damian Johnson, the right guard, and Oates, the center. They are responsible for just drive blocking. Drive the guys off and allow the back, Anderson, just to find the hole, get in behind them. That's as complicated as they will get. Occasionally, they will pull the left guard, Roberts.
2nd and goal in a tie ball game. Anderson up over the top. I don't believe he got in again. Simms indicates touchdown. And he has some company in the chorus, but now he says, no, we got about a foot to go.
Notice the line play. Albritton on the outside. Notice they try to get under you always try to get under the defensive lineman to get them up in the air, and then the back has the power. He has the advantage. That time, that was kind of a stalemate. The Cowboys got underneath. They both met head on. No one gave.
3-3 ball game, 2nd quarter, Texas Stadium, 3rd and goal. Anderson. Touchdown. Sims called it. Cross called it. And finally, the line judge called it.
Same play. This is the same play. They've run 3 times. Carthon is leading. He leaves his feet and knocks he knocks Albritton 36 back. Albritton came in to make the stop. He got the plunge. There's the drive by Anderson. That's touchdown. Same play 3 times. Look in the backfield. Walls has Anderson by his feet. But unfortunately, the ball breaks the plane for the Cowboys.
Allegre will try and make it a 10-3 game. Done. So passes to Manuel and Bavaro, and the running of Otis Anderson, who now has 24 yards, lead to the touchdown.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Lite, official sponsor of the NFL Player of the Year Award. Miller Lite brings you the NFL's best. New York Life, the company you keep. And by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
State Fair of Texas is opened here in Dallas in the first part of October. The Giants have opened up a 10-3 lead over the Cowboys. 8:41 to go, and Raul Allegre will kick it off. 8:41 to go before halftime. Giants trying to go 4-0. The Cowboys trying to avoid an 0-4 start for the first time since 1963. Darryl Plack at the 6. Comes left, has a little bit of room, and pops it out near the 28-yard line. Greg Jackson makes the tackle. 23-yard return by Darryl Plack. Time has been called. The Cowboys have a first down 10. Cowboys wanted to rush Herschel Walker, and they have, but they may have lost Troy Aikman for the game. Dallas's first 2 interceptions of the season, and Roger Ruzek's field goal has given Dallas 3 points, but the Giants just came back to go on top 10-3. But the big news right now may be that Troy Aikman is still in the locker room, and Terry Steve Walsh is coming in at quarterback, his fellow rookie.
Well, Walsh should handle this system well. This offense is built around the Miami offense, which he ran for Jimmy Johnson in Miami. So he actually should be very comfortable with the offense, and he played very well in the preseason.
Walsh also saw action in the second half of last week's game, a loss to the Redskins. That handoff to Walker, and it looked pretty tentative. No gain on Herschel's 13th carry. Right now, let's go back to New York and check in with Brent.
Well, Verne and Terry, here's the new look for the Los Angeles Rams this year. On the roll to the right, Jim Everett buying time against the 49ers. It'll be a 65-yard touchdown play. Flipper Anderson, and the Rams lead for the first time, 10-6. Back to Verne and Terry.
All right, Brent, he got behind Darryl Pollard, Terry, on that play, 65 yards. And here it's Steve Walsh, who was intercepted twice last week. And he is in place of Troy Aikman, who's in the locker room, adding his left hand x-ray. Play fake. Walsh down the middle, caught. Great play. Calvin Martin, number 83, and Myron Guyton makes the tackle. Nice pass from Walsh to Martin.
Walsh coming out looking to his right, throws the strong safety, forced him out of position a little bit that time, and by doing that, that opened up a wider gap over the middle for Martin. Notice the little movement to the right, and then the throw in behind. There's the throw in behind Reason 55 and the strong safety.
One other note for the Cowboys, Mark Stepnoski, a rookie, number 70, has now come on in place of Bob White. This is his first action in a game at center. He played guard at Pittsburgh, but they're trying to convert him. He's one of the high draft choices of the Cowboys. So Stepnoski and Walsh. That's Martin in motion. Blitz. Here comes Lawrence Taylor. He loses control of Herschel Walker, but then Taylor has some help as John Washington and Gary Reasons make the tackle with Myron Guyton's assistance.
Yeah, sending a wide receiver back to the weak side. And the reason the Cowboys did send Martin in motion was to block Lawrence Taylor. Normally, most teams will just line up in 2 tight ends to slow down the rush because Taylor is so quick, he runs people down from the backside. Martin did not block Taylor, by the way.
Well, if I'm 5'9" and 165 and they tell me to block Lawrence Taylor, I say I want to renegotiate. It's second down. That is the ultimate mismatch. Here's Michael Irvin. Blitz is coming. Reason's coming on the blitz, and a whistle before the snap.
Yeah, this is.
False start, number 66, second down.
That's Gogan, right tackle. Got a little antsy that time, but I was going to say that you would more likely, there's Gogan, big Gogan, the right tackle for the Cowboys, but with a young quarterback, Verne, and a young center now in the game, I would expect that Walsh will probably go on longer snap counts, and he'll be slower coming away from the center to make sure that he has the ball. And if he comes out slow, I would expect one of the guards to step on his feet like they did last week to Joe Montana.
Second down. Walsh back. Kelvin Martin again, down by Lawrence Taylor at the 49-yard line. This, by the way, Terry, is not the change at center now. Stepnoski for White is a design change. That was pre-planned. It's not as a result of any kind of dissatisfaction with Bob White's play in this game. They had planned coming in to split the time between the two.
Right, and they're doing the same thing at fullback. Broderick Sargent's coming in. He plays the series, and then Daryl Johnson, number 2. Second-round draft choice out of Syracuse, he comes in a series. So they're swapping a lot of people. It's hot. They're going to move in interchangeable players throughout the rest of this game.
Cowboys not that effective on third down this year, 31%. And they're 1 of 5 today. From the 48. Collins follows Martin. Blitz coming again. Gaps in the front. Play action left side. In the front. Play action left side. Dixon. Nice catch. And he did a terrific job of fending off Perry Williams. James Dixon's first catch. He's a free agent from the University of Houston.
Look at the corner. Perry Williams, 23, has his eyes squared up on the receiver, Dixon. Now Williams turns around when he sees Dixon turn around, but a perfectly thrown ball and a penalty. They're going to call this back, Verne.
85.
Whoa.
5 yards, third down.
Steve Folsom, tight end, offsides. That's what happens, Verne, when you have blitz threats and a young team. You get a lot of people that aren't sure what they're doing. They get a little bit out of sync. I'm going to show you. This is Dixon, number 85. Circle. Folsom, number 85, tight end. There's the movement right there prior to the snap.
That makes a third down and 10 now and wipes out a first down on a 32-yard gain. 3rd and 10, and again the blitz threatened by the Giants. They stunt again on the defensive line. Walsh comes left again, and it is caught. Here's Kelvin Martin with a foot race. Out of bounds at the 7-yard line. That's a gain of 46.
Kelvin Martin in 83. This is a blitz. Man coverage. Notice his man running with him. It's simple break. But the problem was 25, Collins, he went for the interception. When you're in man coverage and you commit to the interception and miss it, you get big plays. There's Walsh, a young kid, says, I don't think I'm going to be a Cowboy very long. I know I'm going to be traded, but I'm going to make the most of it. And the Cowboys are hoping he does just that.
He reportedly has asked for a trade before the deadline in mid-October. Cowboys have indicated they want to keep him here for the year. Flag down. Delay of game.
Delay offense. 5 yards, first down.
See, this is where you go back to the old theory that I always say, let the quarterbacks call it. When they get inside the 20, you can't afford silly things like a delay of game. So if the quarterback is calling his own game, you don't have this. See, Walsh backs up, looks over, Schuler's giving him the, he's flagging this stuff in, and it takes a long time. Number 8, Aikman.
Out of the game with a fractured index finger. Not a dislocation, a fracture. He will not return. So the Cowboy quarterback for today is Steve Walsh, who played for Jimmy Johnson at Miami. Handoff, Walker. Met behind the line by Carl Banks. That is the 15th carry for Herschel Walker.
Banks just simply crashed from the outside. Cowboys were pulling their right guard, Crawford Kerr, and Kerr ran right by Banks. 58, Banks was coming, and when you pull out as a guard, the first thing you read is penetration. Who's the first guy crosses the line of scrimmage in my face? It was Banks. Kerr should have blocked him.
Be a second down and goal from the 15-yard line. Walker with 15 carries for 43 yards. He has never been over 100 yards in rushing against the Giants. Top effort was 98 a year ago in New York. No blitz this time. Play fake. Walsh goes deep left side in the corner. Out of bounds. Incomplete. Across the end line. Nice coverage by Perry Williams. Intended for Michael Irvin.
Yeah, so you just don't have enough time to lay a ball up in this area, Verne. You got guys that are using a little 10-yard end zone, and you've got to really gun it. That's where Aikman would fit well. He has that big gun. Walsh is a timing passer. He got laid off with his delivery. When you get a delivery late in this area, it's best that you throw it out of the end zone.
Dave Shula on the left, the 30-year-old offensive coordinator, talking with Troy Aikman. It'll be 4 wide receivers for the Cowboys now on 3rd and goal from the 15. 10-3. Giants lead. Shotgun. Pepper Johnson in on the pass defense. Dances out of the line. 4-man rush. Walsh, left side. Michael Irvin out of the end zone. Incomplete. Terry Kennard back there covering. Kennard, who had the interception return for the touchdown last week against the Cardinals.
And one of the problems you have as a receiver, not only do you have to fight with the defensive backs, but you have so many people. Look at this. So many cameramen laying around by these, they want to get close to the action. He says, oh, no, my camera, it's broken. They're laying in the back of the end zone looking for that Hall of Fame shot. And these receivers are struggling.
Ruzek from 33 yards out. This is his 3rd attempt today, and it's good. He's 2 of 3, having missed on a 53-yarder. So Steve Walsh leads the Cowboys downfield. A big play to Kelvin Martin. Ruzek's field goal cuts the margin to 4. Giants lead the Cowboys 10-6, week 4 of the 1989 NFL season. 3:46 to go before halftime. And Roger Ruzek, who just kicked that 33-yard field goal, is getting ready to kick it deep. Dave Meggett and Mark Ingram, the deep men for the Giants. New York trying to go 4-0. They're 3-0 for the first time since 1968. I don't know whether that was by design, but it goes right by Meggett and Ingram, and it will be a touchback. That's a new mascot down there in the end zone. I've never seen that before. Where did he come from? Time has been called on the field. Giants have the ball, first down at the 20-yard line. Game is being blacked out. It is not being shown locally on television. It did not sell out in the required time. A crowd expected to be about 50,000 here on a beautiful but hot October afternoon. The Giants lead at 10-6. And there is the Armadillo, who is down. By the way, Crazy Ray, the beloved mascot of the Cowboys, Wilford Jones is his name, hospitalized here in Dallas Medical City Hospital with a heart attack earlier this week. I think a lot of you around the country have watched Crazy Ray and his antics through the years, and we wish him well in his recovery. He's listed in stable condition. Dave Meggett is in the lineup now, number 30, the rookie from Towson State. Handoff up the middle. Anderson gets it and is out near the 23-yard line. College football for you again this next Saturday on CBS. ACC battle as Virginia goes down to Death Valley to take on Clemson.
Clemson. You got to put the P in it, Verne.
Live at 2:30 Eastern.
That's right. They got a hot shot quarterback in Virginia named Sean Moore. Really good one. And Clemson is a wounded tiger, and you better have a shotgun when you go a corner tiger.
Clemson got beat yesterday by Duke. Clemson. That's next Saturday. Here's Sims going across the middle. Caught. First down out at the 40-yard line. Giants move the ball. Gene Lockhart with the tackle. Odessa Turner with the catch. A gain of 17. And Odessa Turner is down. Young man from Northwest Louisiana State who has really come on after 2 injury-filled years.
Well,
he is in obvious pain.
Looks like he's had the wind knocked out. It looked like he landed on the ball. Simple in route. He told us that his favorite route to run is the in route because he can catch it. That's what happened. He got tackled and the ball was under him, got him right in the old abdomen, knocked all the air out. And believe you folks, if you've never had the wind knocked out of you, it is some painful. But he loves going over the middle because he said, I can catch the ball, and if it's zone, I can split it. If it's man to man, he said, all I can do, I can just look down there, I see the end zone. But he said, I love going over the middle.
Odessa Turner, drafted in the 4th round 3 years ago, injured much of his rookie season, but came on at the end of the year to catch 10 passes. Last year earned a start and then was hurt early in the year and was out for the remainder of the year after catching 10 passes.
Had a knee. Was a defensive back and a wide receiver in college. He said that playing defensive back made him tougher. So he applied the toughness from being a defensive back, which is a guy that tackles. He said, I transferred that over to the offensive side. And he said, playing defense just made me smarter as a receiver. Plus, I'm much tougher.
I don't know whether Lawrence is seeking divine help or he's just hot. But his team leads 10-6. 2:35 to go before halftime. Stephen Baker in the lineup. That pass caught by Meggett out near the 45-yard line in front of Everson Walls. Dave Meggett, 5'7", 180 pounds. When it came time to draft him this year, Bill Parcells said he had to be talked into it by his scouts. He said, I've already got Joe Morris at 5'7". What do I need in the NFL with 2 5'7" running backs?
Yeah, and he said, you guys better be right about this guy, too. He'd already told him he wasn't going to take one guy. He'd already said, absolutely not. But when Meggett came up, they said, we said, well, how are we going to run him? He said, just pitch it to him. Just pitch it to him.
Which they have done. And he says he's going to be the best kick returner in the National Football League before the year is out. Troy Aikman from Henrietta, Oklahoma, now of Dallas, is a huge country western fan. A week ago Friday night, he went to see a local concert by Hank Williams Jr. And I'm sure somewhere in Hank Williams Jr.'s repertoire there's something about pain. That's what Troy Aikman is feeling right now. He's got a broken index finger in his left hand, out for the game. Second down for the Giants. They lead at 10-6. 2-minute warning has gone by us now. Here's Sims, play fake. Throws it short. Otis Anderson goes by Lockhart. Now goes by Randy Shannon and is down at the 33. A little safety valve pass, Sims to Anderson. And it's good for a gain of 22 yards.
Yeah, that's one of those 4-yarders for 22 yards. Sims moves out of the pocket, Verne, and then Anderson coming back from the right side, crossing routes. And once again, you know, crossing routes, man, if you can run crossing routes, man, you can get the ball to people and big things can happen. Anderson just crossed. Sims found him when he scrambled. 22 yards.
Clock shows 1:20 to go. First and 10. 10-6. Giants lead. No play fake this time. A pump. And Sims deep right side for Meggett. Caught. Touchdown. And here comes Phil Sims with the high fives. 33 yards. Touchdown to the rookie from Towson State. That's a new wrinkle by the Giants to use Meggett as a wide receiver.
Yeah, the punt. Two things happened on the punt. Number one, that was a too-deep zone by the Cowboys in the right of your screen, to the left of your screen, rather. Walls must jam Meggett. There's a little pump, not much of a pump. And you look at Sims down the middle. He turns back to the outside. Meggett is wide open. Notice the safety, Albritton, nowhere in sight. He looked at the pump of Sims in the middle. That pulled him in.
Meggett with the touchdown. He scored on a pass on Monday night against the Redskins. He scores on a pass of half that distance here. .57", 180 out of Towson State. It's 17-6. 11-point Giant lead. 1:12 to go before halftime, as the New York Giants try and go 4-0 in 1989 and increase the way they have been playing. They're off to a 3-0 start, as we said, first time in 21 years. That year, things fell apart for the Giants, and they wound up 7-7 in a 14-game season.
Well, they said they were scared. They showed a lot of respect. The Cowboys early in the first quarter with 2 interceptions off of Phil Sims, but a veteran quarterback, a great veteran quarterback like Sims, didn't get rattled, didn't pay any attention to it, and has come back and responded and done a fine job in the first half.
That bounces. Dixon lets it go. Now he circles back to the 2, and he is in jail. Greg Jackson led the way down.
But one of the things you don't want to do, it's kind of like a punt, Verne. You don't want to sit there and wait on it. Get on up and make the catch. Now notice that Dixon just pulls off. The ball lands about 3 yards in front of him, takes a big high hop. He touches it, and now he's in trouble. He's got to get back and get the ball. If the Giants get it, it's touchdown.
Next Sunday on CBS, NFL doubleheader action. We'll kick it off with the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern. Most of you will then see the Giants at Philadelphia. Others watch the Cowboys at Green Bay or Chicago at Tampa Bay. And then game 2, Terry and I will be in New Orleans for the 49ers and the New Orleans Saints. That's a doubleheader next weekend. And off to Herschel Walker, and it's Broderick Sargent instead, number 39. And he doesn't get it out to the 5. Got about to the 4-yard line. Now, who's calling time? The Giants? I think so. 54 seconds to go.
Well, they know that the Cowboys are going to run the football. They're not going to put Walsh. They're not going to put Walsh in the end zone with the pass, knowing that Taylor and these guys could get the safety. Then the Cowboys would have to punt the football back to the Giants anyway, plus give them 2 points. So they know they're going to run the football, so the Giants are going to come inside. They're going to jam it up, and every time they can knock them down, they're going to go ahead and call timeout. The only surprise would be right now, Cowboys say, I sense this, I see this, we're smart people over here. So they'll come out, play action, and go deep. If you go deep, you don't have to worry about interceptions. If you go short and crossing routes, man, you can get in trouble.
Are you suggesting they might use play action and go deep?
I'm telling you, Verne.
You would, I know.
Hair on my back's crawling.
Really?
I would love to be in this position, knowing that they know I'm going to run it. I'm a rookie quarterback. I'm only making $4 million over 4 years, so I'm going to try. And I'm going to gamble. I think this would be a beautiful time to play action and come out and bomb. Why
May
not?
I suggest a big difference in your circumstance and his?
Well, I'm right here.
You called your own play.
Well, that's true. Here comes blitz. Notice.
And they hand it off. Well, there goes a heck of a scenario. It would have been fun. Herschel Walker runs it out of bounds. And that stops the clock with 48 seconds to go. I like your idea better than
I do too, and I think the fans would have enjoyed it a lot more.
NFL Today at halftime. We'll go back to the studio for Brent and Herb with scores and highlights. A lot of unusual games today. Green Bay came from behind with 17 in the 4th to win it.
Morton Anderson missing a 22 or
30-something-yard field goal.
32-yarder, pushed it to the left, and
Brent and Herb will bring you up to date. And there's a good game going on in the West right now. The Rams and the 49ers, and we got a good one here. Ray Alexander comes in now. 3rd down, 7. 48 seconds to go. Steve Walsh playing in place of the injured Troy Aikman. Number 1 draft choice in the supplemental draft. Up the middle. Herschel tries to pop it out. Can't. There's a flag down. Thrown by the line judge. And let's see, against a holding is the indication by the Giants. Here's Fred Wyant.
Holding, number 89.
Thornton Chandler, the tight end, may want to decline this. Do that because they'll conserve the time on the clock.
Find 4th down.
You see, now you're going to give the ball back to the Giants. They're going to set up for a punt return to a guy that Parcells absolutely loves. Megan, number 30, already caught a touchdown pass. There's 42 seconds left before this punt.
Mike Saxon in the end zone. The snap is good from Wydell. Nice punt. Make it. Fair catch at the 46-yard line. Pretty good downfield coverage from Junior Toddle-Atosi, the former Philadelphia Eagle, who was in one of those 29 player moves that have been made by the Cowboys. So 34 seconds to go. And the Giants have 2 timeouts left, and they've got 55 yards to cover.
Look for Sims now. Phil Sims is one of the greatest passers at throwing the 20-yard hook and in, the big hook and in over the middle. I don't think he'll take the shorts. He might if he's forced to, but I really believe the way to throw the ball now is 15, 20 yards down deep over the middle. The Giants have 2 timeouts remaining.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. 5-man rush. Sims goes left and finds Odessa Turner, who is knocked out of bounds by Eric Brown, number 33, who was just signed this week off the developmental squad. Eric Brown's a heck of a story. Jimmy Johnson said to us, you think we aren't weak in the secondary or inexperienced? He said the last time this young man lined up to play and it meant something was for Savannah State.
And the first day in practice that he lined up out there when they told him to go into the first unit, they had 2 wide receivers that hit side. He had responsibility. He didn't even know there was a guy out wide. He lined up into the slot.
2nd and 6, Giants for 49. 4-man rush, Sims deep left side. And they test Eric Brown with Odessa Turner, and pretty good coverage by Eric Brown.
Yeah. I still think the place to throw the football is in cuts, even on man coverage. Throw the deep ends. You know, the 4-yard out, 3-yard out was no good. Now notice the eyeballs of Brown, 33. He squares up with Turner. There's a sprint down the sideline. Hey, that's great coverage. Got the hand in there, a little bumping, which is okay, but that's great coverage.
Third down and 6. From midfield, actually the 49. Sims across the middle, caught by Bavaro. Ray Horton misses the tackle. And then it is down by Eric Brown at the 30-yard line. Timeout by the Giants, 16 seconds to go. Interesting coverage that time by Eric Brown. Everson Walls is another one who uses that technique, Terry. And it is legal, I guess, to do the contact as you come down the field.
Well, one of the things that Walls tries to do when he's running down the field is that as he runs, he takes the left hand and pulls and hits you. Notice now we run, now hit, now stride, now hit. And every time he hits the receiver, he throws him off balance a little bit. And he said they put in a rule to take this away from me. But he said, this is what I use. I can't cover a guy deep unless I have contact with him so I know where he is. And that allows me to play him and to peripher for the ball to make the interceptions. That's how this guy led the league 3 years in a row. They only got to do it by doing this technique and making interceptions.
And as long as you're looking back at the ball, that is a
That's okay. That's okay. Little pop, you know, throws him off stride.
You still got pretty good strength in your left hand.
Did you like that?
I'm going to be bruised tomorrow. First down at the 30. 16 seconds to go before halftime. Sims pulls up and runs and slides down at the 13-yard line with 7 seconds to go. Calls time. Let's see if we see Allegre or if they want to take one shot in the end zone with 7 seconds remaining. There's Raul Allegre in case they want him out there.
Well, 7 seconds. Normally you can run a pass play. If it's just throw the ball and get it in, you can get it off in about 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And this is what Parcells saying, hey, we can get this thing off, but whether or not we can get around and get the clock stopped, you know, in 2 seconds, that remains to be seen. Our young receivers may not do that, so they're just going to say, forget that. We'll go ahead and take the field goal attempt.
By the way, that is a slimmed down version of Bill Parcells. He looks good.
How much weight?
45 pounds he's lost.
Said he's got 20 more to go. Said I cannot lose it during football season.
But I'll do it at the end of the year. He
And then
lost 45 in the offseason. And then the cigarettes go.
And then and whatever else.
32-yard field goal attempt for Raul Allegre. It increased the lead to 14 points. Jeff Hostetler is the holder. The kick is up and good. Still 3 seconds remaining before halftime. Allegre gets another field goal, and the lead is now 14 at 20-6. So 10 quick points by the Giants after the Cowboys had cut the lead to 4 points, and it's 20-6 before halftime.
Yeah, one of the things coming into the second half, and I'm going to go ahead and get to the second half on the Cowboys, I think it would be a terrible mistake if they panicked and got into a throwing deal. Lockhart told us that in the New Orleans game, it totally destroyed us. We got away from our rhythm and everything, and psychologically, he said, even today, we have not gotten over the Saints beating the first week of the season. But the thing they've got to do, I believe, the Cowboys, is stay with Walker, continue to run him, continue to do some play action. We haven't seen, I think, any play action whatsoever, but I really believe they should stay with Walker, continue to run it, set up a big long drive, and mix in some play action. Don't get away from it. Don't force the young quarterback Walsh to have to bring him back throwing the football.
All of that, in all likelihood, will take place with the Cowboys down by 14. It's 20-6 now, and Allegre will kick it off. Raul, who played collegiately just 200 miles to the south at the University of Texas. And Darryl Clack and Dixon are back. It was Dixon's mishandling of the last kickoff that put the Cowboys in poor field position. And after the Giants held, allowed them to go down for Allegre's field goal. Swift kick. taken by junior Toddle-Latossi at the 39-yard line. And that'll do it for halftime. Jimmy Johnson's team hasn't scored in the second half of any game so far this year. They trail by 14. That's the end of the half. With our score, New York 20, the Cowboys 6.
Coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Subaru. We built our reputation by building a better car. Astro, engineered for today's smaller cars. And by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
What do you think, Irv? If the Giants and the Cowboys can get it over early, maybe the audience will get to see the end of the Ram 49ers game. They got a good one going out in Anaheim as expected right now, and that one it is 10-9. The only touchdown of the game has been a pass from Jim Everett. What's really interesting, what they put in for Everett this year, is to have him on the roll, much like they've used Montana for years. There's one difference. Everett has got a cannon when he goes on the roll. I mean, he takes it deep, and here is Flipper Anderson. Don't you love that name? We assume he is not related to the Dolphins. 65 yards. And San Francisco, that's 17 straight field goals for Mike Kofer in that game. Giants all over Dallas. This is really going to be a long season for the Cowboys. 20-6. Troy Aikman out with an injury. Here comes Phil Simms. Beautiful pump fake up in that pocket. And there is David Meggett. 6 touchdowns on the season now for Simms. All right, in the AFC, late. And the Raiders lead the Seahawks in Los Angeles 10-7 at the half. San Diego and Phoenix, defensive duel here. The Cardinals are really beaten up, but they lead it by a field goal. And we will continue after these messages from your local stations. Welcome back to New York, everybody. Well, Irv Cross, the Washington Redskins do it the hard way today.
Boy, I tell you, but one of the guys that had a big day for him was Gerald Riggs. He had a great day.
He's off to a tremendous start with it.
Well, there he goes right now over his right end for a 9-yard touchdown, Brent, putting his club in a position to win the game.
Well, they still might have lost it, Irv, except that Morton Anderson, remember that slump began late last year? He missed 2 field goals in the fourth quarter, and the Skins hang on to make their record 2-2, and the Saints fall to 1-3. Denver and Cleveland. You know how noisy it is at one end of the field in Cleveland? The dog pound, the biscuits being thrown at John Elway. So the ref says, hey, come on, let's switch ends. So now, John Elway, well, he was successful down at the other end. But the Brown defense really ruled the day. 16 turnovers on the season they have forced for Bud Carson. This was their first touchdown of the afternoon. Kosar to Slaughter for the TD. But it came down to this man, and Matt Barr kicked a field goal that won it. He had 3 field goals on the day. He kicked that field goal after, yes, you guessed it, a turnover by Denver. Cincinnati and Kansas City, the Bengals start the day without Boomer Esiason. Turk Schonert limps off with an ankle injury, so they force the Boomer in. First player.
Boomer comes in and hits Tim McGee for a 40-yard touchdown. Can you imagine that coming off the bench and bang, touchdown right away?
What a thing to do with your first pass. Now, David Fulcher, 3 interceptions on the day against Ron Jaworski. Jaworski turned it over 4 times as the starting quarterback for the Chiefs. The Bengals now go to 3-1. As they defeat Kansas City, 21-17 was the final in that game. Houston explodes on Miami. 39-7, the final score down there. Dan Marino had a nightmare. 11 for 29, 103 yards, his lowest yardage total as a starter. How about Warren Moon?
Well, it was a pretty good day for him. He saw the bright lights. He didn't have any nightmares down there, but Warren Moon hits Curtis Duncan for a 25-yard touchdown there.
And so the Oilers go to 2-2, and the Dolphins drop to 1-3. You know, there's a character who catches passes for the Steelers. He's been missing the last couple of seasons. Where has Sweet Lips been, Irv Cross?
Some players affectionately call him loose lips, but I tell you right now, he had glue fingers in this catch. Look at this thing, a 48-yard touchdown.
I think we buried the Steelers a little too early this year. Suddenly they're back to 2-2 and not looking too bad. All right, Minnesota and Tampa Bay, just when everybody was coming down on the Vikings, they turn up with a good performance today at home. Vinny Testaverde, not a good day. 11 straight incompletions Testaverde threw for Tampa Bay. Oh, how about Leo Lewis, sir?
Boy, did he have a good day, returning kicks and everything. You know, by the way, he was cut by the club and then brought back. Here he picks this one off for a 28-yard touchdown for the Vikings.
And the Vikings, with that win, go to 2-2, and the Bucks fall to 2-2. Green Bay and Atlanta. The Packers, they say, forget about the first 3 quarters. Let's start in the fourth. 48-13, they've outscored everybody in the fourth. This is an indication of why. Jeff Query fumbles. Sterling Sharp says, look what I got. Touchdown, Green Bay. Oh, Deion Sanders brought it back.
Exciting runner, exciting play. Everything's there. He goes 94 yards on this ensuing kickoff. But you know what, Brent? There was a penalty on the Falcons. It's a shame to have to call this one back.
What a thing of beauty. And so it was up to the Packers who kicked the field goal to win it. 23-21, the final there. Buffalo and New England. Jim Kelly hot again. And he had 3 more touchdown passes, 10 for the year. This one to Thurman Thomas, and he'll take it in. It's a 73-yard score for the Bills, and now Buffalo extends its record to 3-1. Indianapolis and the Jets. 17-10. The Colts win it on a punt return. 2 big plays in the game. The first by a Jet defensive back.
Well, you know, you talk about why scoring is up in the league. Here's one reason for it. Interceptions by the defense. Eric McMillan picks this one off, goes 92 yards. The longest interception for a touchdown ever for a New York Jet.
Hey, how about this punt return, though, by Clarence Verdun?
Clarence Verdun. He used to play for the Washington Redskins. One of these guys, a little runt, very active in the locker room, runs his mouth all the time, but a very popular ball player. There he goes, a 49-yard punt return. No one even comes close to touching him.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody run a punt return back straight for a touchdown in the NFL. All right, let's send you back to the stadium in a game you're watching on CBS.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
The sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Diet Coke, just for the taste of it, with 100% NutraSweet. The good time, great taste of McDonald's. And by Jeep, there's a feeling you can get only in a Jeep.
Halftime on a muggy October afternoon here at Texas Stadium, and the Giants lead by a count of 20-6. They got there in part because Phil Simms saw the Cowboys in what they call cover 2, and he hit Dave Meggett for a touchdown. It's the Bradshaw blackboard time, in other words, and Terry's going to explain to you and to me what cover 2 is all about. Mr. Bradshaw?
Cover 2 is a zone. It is primarily called cover 2 because these are the 2 safeties. Their responsibilities are to get over and to help this corner. His responsibility is this short area, but he has first to jam the receivers, and then this guy gives him help over top. Now, the thing that happens on the touchdown to Meggett, this is Meggett, this is Walls. Walls doesn't get the jam. Meggett gets a clean release. Now, this is Albritton, number 36. Simms drops back. Bavaro comes inside, he pumps, and then Albritton, 36, commits this way. All of a sudden, Meggett is wide open. This is his fault, not his. Simms, bingo, in the corner, touchdown. Folks, that's cover 2.
We'll test you on it again tomorrow, but it resulted in a 17-6.
Good stuff.
You teach well.
Oh, yeah.
Professor Bradshaw.
Thank
Professor,
you.
It's 17-6 at that point, and it later became 20-6. Let's take a look at some halftime stats. The Giants with 210 yards, 143 for the Cowboys. No penalties for New York, 7 for the Cowboys. And those who have followed Dallas this year will be shocked to find out that they had the ball for 16 minutes and 50 seconds to only 13-10 for New York, but they didn't accomplish what they wanted. Steve Walsh came on in place of an injured Troy Aikman, and he hit 3 out of 5 for 71 yards. Aikman went out with a broken index finger on his left hand after hitting 1 out of 6 for 11 yards. And the Giants will return the ball, receive the ball to open the third quarter. Phil Simms, almost perfect in the first half. 11 of 14. He only had 1 ball hit the ground. He was intercepted twice and had 1 ball incomplete. 161 yards. Now, Roger Ruzek back to return the kick, or rather to kick off. 20-6 at halftime. Meggett out to the 25. Watch out. Trips and falls. And is down at the 35-yard line. A 35-yard return officially. And Meggett was within a whisker of running it all the way. A lot of things are new in Dallas these days, of course. The Jaybirds are here. That's what they're called affectionately. I think affectionately. Jones and Johnson, the owner. Here's something else that is new, Terry. This is a concept they're using. Instead of the old Polaroid pictures, these are video images. And they are sent down by messengers to the Cowboy sideline at the end of every series. But it's a still frame instead of a Polaroid. It's a video image, something that they've just started this year. Another new concept. Here's Otis Anderson out to the 30-yard line. So technology evolves even here. Giants possessions in the first half. They opened with a field goal, then had 2 passes intercepted, but the last 3 they have scored. 8 plays and a touchdown, 5 and a touchdown, and then 4 plays and a field goal to assume a 20-6 lead. Bill Sims said, "I'm scared to death of these guys," talking about the Cowboys. Deep left side, test Ron Francis. Good coverage, Francis interception. That's the 3rd interception of Sims today. And superb coverage by Ron Francis.
Ron Francis, young man, had lost his job, lost that starting corner to Williams. Williams down. Francis with an opportunity now to reclaim it, even though it is because of an injury. But this is once again excellent coverage. Phil Sims underthrew this ball, and the worst part about the pass was that it was brought to the inside where the defensive back had the angle. He had the angle on Manuel 86. No way Manuel could have gotten to it and even knocked it down.
Sims intercepted for the 3rd time as he tries to go long left side. Steve Walsh, the Cowboy quarterback. Let's see now if they keep it on the ground. They do with Herschel Walker. That is his 18th carry. He's still not down. What an effort. Terrific. Good stuff. Carl Banks was the first there and then rode Herschel's back for a while. Is it true what he told me yesterday that he beat you in a game of horse in basketball?
Herschel Walker knows that is not true. Herschel Walker cannot shoot with his left hand, and I can, and I beat him, and he knows it, and he needs to fess up to that. But I beat Herschel Walker in horse. Now he can out-jump me, but he can't out-shoot me.
Terry, that's not what he says.
Well, you just got to know Herschel.
Second down. There goes Herschel's image. Herschel goes right. And he's after the 30.
I sent him home in a state of shock.
It was funny. We were talking with Gene Lockhart, who was the captain of the Cowboys basketball season, the team in the offseason. Asked him who the best basketball player was on the team, and he said Thornton Chandler. I said, well, what about Herschel? He said Herschel cannot shoot.
That's it. Well,
that's what
there you
said.
have it. Okay. Eugene Lockhart and Terry Bradshaw have spoken. We tell the truth.
3rd and 1. Michael Irvin comes left. He's been blank so far. Martin and Dixon out to the right side. This is Kelvin Martin. Continues his journey. Walsh rolls out, pulls up, goes deep for Michael Irvin. Incomplete. No flag. And the Cowboys fans wanted a face guarding call, but it was good coverage as Terry Kennard came over to help out on Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin said one of the things he has to work on is hiding his enthusiasm, his excitement. He said, my eyes always give me away when I am real excited and I know I'm going to catch the ball. He's outside, he's wide open, and the thing that happened was the ball slips out of the quarterback Walsh's hands. It stays in the air too long, Verne.
Good coverage, too, by Kennard. It'll be 4th down, and Saxon's back to punt. Meggett waits for it. Fair catch. Taken at the 32-yard line. So the Giants get the ball back. Phil Sims has thrown 3 interceptions so far, but his team still leads that of Jimmy Johnson by 14. .21 to go 3rd quarter. 20-6. New York leads it. Both teams have had 1 possession in quarter number 3. Phil Sims intercepted for the 3rd time, and the Cowboys unable to move. They gave it back by virtue of a punt. First down, New York at the 33-yard line. Sims has yet to be sacked, and not really much pressure applied by the Cowboys thus far. as the 3-0 Giants take on the 0-3 Cowboys here in the second half. Dallas has not scored in the second half of any game this season. Nothing, nada. Here's a play fake to Sims. Across the middle, caught by Anderson. Ron Burton makes contact, and so does Gene Lockhart. And it's first down after the 43-yard line. Gene Lockhart, Ron Burton, Randy Shannon, Jack Del Rio. Linebackers now. Otis, by the way, has become the number 8 rusher in National Football League history. He surpassed Jim Taylor of the Green Bay Packers in the first half. Carthen and Anderson in the backfield. Sims 12 of 16, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Blitz threatened, blitz coming. Carthen goes right. Ed Too Tall Jones forces him inside, and he is tackled by Lockhart and Willie Broughton, number 79, as he gets to the 46-yard line.
Too Tall Jones, 72, 15 years in the National Football League, and notice the move still has the quickness, cuts off the penetration, and forces Carthen back to the inside. One of the things the Cowboys have done today, and we'll see it in the second half, we'll point it out to you folks, they're going to take Too Tall Jones from a defensive end in passing situations and make him a tackle to save him a little bit, save a little strength.
6 tackles already today. It's second down. Stunt by the Cowboys defense. Sims, relief pass out to Anderson with a lot of room. And he is hauled down by Ray Horton, but not until he gets to the Cowboy 29-yard line. A 26-yard gain, and Otis gets up limping a little bit and comes over to the sideline. Watch it again.
Yeah, you're looking at Aubrey, just plain old zones. That cover 2 we've been talking about. Anderson just gets out. Look how simple this is. A little old 4-yard pass behind the line of scrimmage. But the key to all of this is good blocking. Look at Meg at 30 downfield, makes 2 attempts at blocks and helps the receiver.
First down, Carthen. Down to the 26-yard line. Jim Jeffcoat made the tackle, number 77. Rams continue to lead the 49ers 10-9 in that battle of undefeated. Raiders now on top of Seattle by 3 in the third quarter. And the other game has Phoenix. Al Del Greco kick a field goal just before halftime.
Yeah,
they lead San Diego.
That Shanahan guy, coach out at the Raiders, you know, there's a lot of talk that Al Davis might unload him if they don't start winning some football games.
Second and 8. Giants are up 20-6. Ingram in motion. Roussan is in the backfield. Sims, a lot of room. Chased by Burton, out of bounds at the 11-yard line. And again, Phil Sims avoids being sacked. Not a lot of pressure on him. So funny, last week, Terry, they were playing the Cardinals, and at one point, Sims got bumped in the backfield, and he got the guys around him in a huddle. He says, my gosh, you guys, come on, block. It's like an avalanche back here. Yeah. And Doug Riesenberg took exception to it.
Yeah, and he told him, shut up, Phil. That's the first time you've been hit all year. Just shut up. And Phil, well, gee whiz, guys, you know how these quarterbacks are.
I've heard.
You talk that big talk, but when these big bruisers start, you kind of step on them a little bit, you got to get ready. They bounce back at you. And Riesenberg took exception to it.
Roussan comes to the right side on first down and 10 from the 11. And John Carter, who played with the Giants last year, was on their injured reserve list, made the tackle, number 75. There's John Carter.
Notice what they did with Roussan. They took him with a little more quickness and fresh legs. Notice that the Giant attack went outside as opposed to bringing Anderson and going up in the middle. You know, when Dorsett was with the Cowboys and Walker, and both of them were in the backfield at the same time, or they would spell one another, the Cowboys would run Walker up the middle with the power, and every time Dorsett came in, he would go wide.
Second and 6. 8:53 to go, third quarter. Giants up by 14. Sims gets it. First sack today. Jeffcoat up on top. Gene Lockhart down below. And Jeffcoat and Lockhart will share that sack. Gene Lockhart, who wears the words "No Pity," P-I-T-Y, on his shoes.
And that was a major stick. I mean, that was a major stick. Top of your screen, 77, Jeffcoat. Lockhart, 56. He comes up the middle. He gets let, and look at this. I mean, we're talking close to getting hurt. Lockhart at the ankles, And then all of a sudden, Jeff Coat up top just pops Phil Simms.
Somewhere under all that tape are the words "No Pity." He's been wearing that all year long. He also sent T-shirts out to his teammates that have the word "No Pity" on them. Simms back, deep left side, wide open, touchdown. Mark Bavaro all by himself. That's his second TD catch of the year, and Simms second of the day.
Can't get any easier than that. Bottom left of your screen, a little motion. Bavaro just comes down and goes to the outside. Just wide. Oh boy, talking about blown coverage. There's no one there.
That increases the lead to 26-6. Raul Alegre out of Hostetler's kick will hold. Will try the extra point. On third down, Phil Simms finds Mark Bavaro 13 yards. Mike Pope congratulates Bavaro.
Moat 84 in motion. Bavaro seen 89 down. He goes inside. The back pulls a linebacker out, and Ray Horton stands in the end zone, stays inside, and Bavaro just runs to the corner wide open.
That may be more than the Cowboys can overcome. 8:10 to go, third quarter. Giants increase their lead to 21 points on the 13-yard touchdown toss. Phil Simms to Mark Bavaro. Alegre. James Dixon taken down by Adrian White, and there's a flag. Those are going to be on. Dixon, who was a free agent with Detroit and then placed on waivers and signed by the Cowboys.
You didn't say you did. Personal foul, number 36, 15 yards, first down.
I didn't say nothing, ref. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say you did. 15 yards.
This is Ellen Adrian White, number 36. There's by the. I tell you, they got him for coming out after Dixon was down. Adrian put the hand behind the neck and then pushed him down again. And evidently they just didn't like it. Nothing, you know, that's no big deal there. But evidently they think so. So it's 15 yards.
That's the first penalty on the Giants in the ball game. And Steve Walsh brings him up to the line. 3 of 6 for 71 yards. Trying to find some spark for this Cowboy offense. Off to Herschel Walker, and he spins and is down for no gain. That's his 20th carry. Most of the year, he's only 12 off the club record. Let's check in with Brent back in our New York studios.
Well, Verne, San Francisco tries to get you-know-who open deep. It'll be Jerry Rice. Montana with the throw, but the Rams have got big play athletes on defense. An 8-minute drive comes up empty for the Niners. They're down 10-9 as the Niners blew a field goal. Let's go back to Verne.
That was Mike Koper's first miss in 18 field goals. He had hit 17 in a row. So the Rams continued to lead. Second down. And the Cowboys have 10 yards needed for the first down. Play fake, Walsh. Left side. No. Michael Irvin picked off by Perry Williams. No, now it's got somehow Michael Irvin got it back. Oh boy, watch Williams argue this one.
Perry Williams is saying I made the interception and I was down. See, that's what Williams is saying. I was tackled. I was down. Look at the bottom of your screen. Listen. Now this is the first of all poorly thrown ball. Too late. Bad decision. All right. There's Williams. Now he's down. And now Irvin, presence of mind, he steals the ball while they're going down. Hey, we saw him early. They didn't reverse it. Why would they change it now?
Well, they haven't made a real call yet. Let's see.
Okay, now you see the ball is actually stolen prior to Williams going down, so it should be, according to this, it should be the Cowboys' ball.
There's one heck of a convention going on, and apparently it's going to go the Giants' way because Michael Irvin is arguing about it.
All right, the thing is, you have to ask, is the receiver of the ball, is the interception, is he down? If he's down, this is certainly Giants' ball. First of all, great move. Williams, fine interception. According to this, the ball is out out of Williams' hands. It's in Irvin's hand. Irvin is the one that hits the ground with the ball. That should be the Cowboys' ball, even on that angle.
Yes. Now let's see what they rule. They are talking to the replay booth.
We have an interception. We have an illegal hands to the face mask by the defense. The ball will go back. Penalized 10 yards against the defense.
Now nobody's happy. So there was no reference to whether or not the play stood. Obviously it did stand. No reference to the replay booth.
Yeah, see.
If they are going to use the replay, it would seem to me, here's a classic example of where there is conclusive proof that Michael Irvin took the ball back.
Johnson can't believe it because that's 2 calls now that have gone against the Cowboys.
I got to tell you, I've been a proponent of this replay system ever since it started. I'm beginning to jump off the ship.
Well, I don't mind it. But if it's obvious, you know, stand up and just take it like a man and say, hey, you know, these guys messed it up, and let's go ahead and change and make the correct call. If you indeed have proof. And I think we've shown in 2 cases today.
We have an interception by the defense. We have illegal hands to the face mask, number 74, 5 yards, first down.
Oh, a little silly 5-yard Eric Howard penalty for 5 yards nullifies the interception. Forget about the interception and Irvin taking it over. They're not even going to fool with that. That's the easy way out. Just take the penalty and bring the ball back and give it to the Cowboys. Guess if I were a head coach, I'd be in Roselle's office Monday morning. They'd be calling me in. I'd look forward to the trip.
Believe me, Jimmy Johnson is not alone among the head coaches in this league who feel that way. You hear it over and over and over as you travel around the league.
And I'll tell you what else you hear.
Absolute disappointment with the officiating.
And once Roselle leaves office, there's strong suggestion among several owners that this thing will not last another year.
They're still talking about it.
All they got to do is look at the replay. I mean, that's all they got to do. Folks in New York, I'm sure they would have to agree with us that that's the way the call is.
That's Ed Fiffick, the umpire.
See, the rule plainly, simply states
now here's Fred Wyant.
We have a recovery of the fumble by Dallas. We have illegal hands to the face mask, number 74, which is declined, and it's first down.
Watch it again.
Poorly thrown ball. Beautiful play by Williams. Now the right hand gets in and the ball's clearly stolen by Michael Irvin. That is an interception and a fumble or a takeaway by the offense. It should be Cowboys ball, and it finally is ruled Cowboys ball after a fumble recovery.
Now Fred Wyant talks with Bill Parcells.
See, now Bill's saying, I know that. I understand what's happening. But why all this delay? Why you guys now? You know, Bill's probably thinking to listen to the crowd reaction and listen to us or whatever. And we've influenced all this. The crowd's influenced. So Bill's not happy with it. Of course he's not going to be happy with it.
Well, that only took a few minutes. At the 45, 1st and 10 Dallas. Handoff, Herschel Walker. And he gets down to the 46. That's his 21st carry of the ball game. It'll be 2nd down and 6. 27-6. Giants have been very much in command. The Cowboys have not scored an offensive touchdown. Haven't scored a point in the second half of any game so far this year, and they trail by 21 right now.
We've been doing that for years.
Terry's looking at me saying the Giants are playing cover 2.
Exactly. You know, hey, if you play quarterback in this league long enough, one of the first things you're going to recognize is that cover 2 is the greatest coverage in the world for a quarterback to throw against, because it gives up touchdowns. Gives them to the outside, you beat the safeties, it gives them down the middle. And every time I ever saw cover 2, I even audible to Brown 135, which was play action, held the linebackers with my tight end down the middle, or went 60 prevent, which put tight end down the middle and 2 corners. Both receivers run into the corner, and that cleared the safeties out. But Walsh hasn't seen that yet. But cover 2, you ought to audible and go down the middle.
3rd and 3. And off to Walker, caught behind the line and dropped.
Whoa, Banks.
Carl Banks. And Terry Kennard liked it.
Yeah, you bet. Banks. What did they tell us yesterday, the Cowboys? One of the things Walker told these guys, don't allow penetration, and I'll get the yardage. Notice top of your left of your screen. Now there's your penetration. That's Banks. He comes in. He breaks up the blocking. Walker's knocked down. Hold him at the line of the scrimmage, Walker says, and I'll break those arm tackles, and I'll pick up yardage. You let them break through, and I'm not going anywhere.
When you're 0-3 and you're playing at home and you haven't scored in the second half of any game, and you're down 27-6, you go for it on 4th and 4. And that's what the Cowboys will do now out of the shotgun. Steve Walsh with 2 seconds to get the ball snapped. He does. 4-man rush. Walsh gets by Leonard Marshall. Pulls up. Throws it incomplete. Pepper Johnson got a hand on it.
Yeah, Martin wide open.
It'll be 3rd and goal from the 4. 3rd and goal. Hostetler back split. Fumble. Now let's see, did the Cowboys get it? Yes, they did.
Looks like it may have been Jeffcoat coming in from the backside. Well, I see Bates with the ball, but it looked like Jeffcoat, number 77.
It was Bates and Jeffcoat.
Left of your screen. Just keep your eyes to the left of your screen. There he is, 77 Jeffcoat comes inside, and then he makes a fumble recovery and then hands it over to Bill Bates. Let him show it off.
That's going to be the one negative for the Giants today. That is their 5th turnover. But they still lead by 24. .7:14 remaining. Jim Jeffcoat, who in odd-numbered years in 85 and 87 scored touchdowns against the Giants in games here, has to settle for a fumble recovery on this one. He had his fumble return for a touchdown last week against the Redskins, but the Cowboys lost that one 30-7. They trail this one 30-6. Steve Walsh after the turnover, and the Cowboys start at their own 7-yard line. 1st down and 10. Up the middle, Walker out to the 10. Terry, you were making a point during the commercial break that it's a young team guided by 2 rookie quarterbacks, and they're really limited in what they can do offensively.
Yeah, you know, in talking to David Shuley, offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, and I asked him, put a percentage on what amount of offense you have in for these rookies. And he said, the most is 35%. So they haven't even tapped their offense. And, you know, and it's just impossible. Being a rookie quarterback and understanding it and starting as a rookie, I can understand it because, man, you can't put a whole lot out there. They just can't grasp it, especially when you don't have the supporting group. You don't have the talent around you.
2nd down and 8. Walsh goes to the left side. That's incomplete. 20-yard line intended for Calvin Martin. Once again, let's find out what's going on elsewhere in the NFL. Here's Brent.
All right, Verne, the Los Angeles Rams bidding to keep their drive alive and come from behind. He hits Anderson, and watch Tom Homo. He stops him just inches short. The Rams have to punt it away. They're down by 2, 7:27 to go. Back to Verne and Terry.
Okay, Brent, in civvies, Troy Aikman with an injured, broken index finger on his left hand. And that happened in the first half, so he's out of uniform. And Steve Walsh has come in and taken his place. 3rd down and 8 now. Out of the shotgun. They'll have to hurry. They get the play snapped. Walsh dodges out of traffic, finds Herschel Walker. That's a 1st down out of the 35-yard line. Walsh to Walker, 26-yard gain. And it stops the clock with 6:16 remaining.
Well, the way this game started, I thought Walker might break a Cowboy rushing record for attempts anyway. At 11 in the first quarter alone, Verne. And now as I look up, he's got 24 rushes for 61 yards. So he had 49 at the end of the first quarter. So the last 3 quarters have not been very kind to him.
And of course the Cowboys playing catch up now. Can't be expected to run it. 6:16 to go. First down and 10. Walsh back. Deep left side. Kelvin Martin incomplete. Greg Jackson defending, and so was Pepper Johnson, number 52. There's Jackson, one of 2 rookie defensive backs back there fighting for the spot. Myron Guyton and Jackson. Bring you up to date elsewhere around the league now. Washington wins as Morton Anderson missed a 37-yard field goal. I think it was 37 with 2:34 to go. Cleveland on the last play of the game nips Denver. Cincinnati in a tough fight with Kansas City before they win it. Houston romped over Miami. Second down and 10 here. The Cowboys trailing 30-6. Cover 2 deep, Barry tells me. See if Steve Walsh saw it like Bradshaw saw it. Michael Irvin can't hang on. And he got popped pretty well. Adrian White hit him.
Adrian White defending for the Giants.
Cowboys #1 draft choice last year.
This Pepper Johnson, 52, looking right in at the quarterback. Notice he never takes his eye. Notice Johnson as Walsh turns to go to the right, how Pepper Johnson, 52, he ends up sliding to his left, which puts him right in front of the young quarterback Walsh. That tells me that naturally he's reading the eyes of the young quarterback. He says, if I follow his eyes, he's going to take me to where he's throwing it. Maybe I'll get a pick.
3 wide receivers in now. Pepper Johnson, who was a contract holdout and still is not back in as a starter. Walsh goes left side for Herschel Walker, and that's another Cowboy first down as he skips out of bounds at the 45. Watch Pepper Johnson again.
Yeah, the one thing Johnson was concerned about, he says, covering is no problem, but I haven't had the contact for it. I haven't hit anybody. And I need to get in football, hitting football shape. This time he steps back and he just turns his back on the quarterback. He just has a zone. He turns inside to help someone out. Walker outside, first down.
Herschel Walker on the draw play, and that's a 9-yard gain as he gets up to the 46-yard line.
Now you see what good offense is. It's so easy to see it. Walker for a 5-yard catch, 15-yard gain. Walker for a 5-yard catch, 12-yard gain. Now they're playing soft, taking away Walker on the reception. Now Walker carries it 9 yards. So good offense. You see how one thing helps the other. The passing helps the run. And you got to have both of those. And there's just no consistency whatsoever with the Cowboy offense. Naturally, though, we're talking, 5.5 left in this game.
Second down and 1, Dallas. 24-point New York Giant lead, 30-6. Walker again. That'll be a first down. Should be. Yes, they'll move the chain. As Rob White, number 71, makes the tackle. Next Saturday on CBS, CFA college football action continues as Virginia goes to Death Valley to take on the Clemson Tigers in an ACC clash. That's live at 2:30 Eastern right here on CBS. You ever been to Death Valley?
No, never have. Sean Moore, quarterback, Virginia. You been down there?
I have. I've had the pleasure of doing a broadcast.
I knew you didn't play in it.
No.
I knew you never played in it. One look at you tells me you never played it.
Whatever gave you a clue. It's a great place for college football, and let's be here on CBS next week. Here's Walker on a little swing pass, left side.
Clemson, Virginia. Danny Ford, mad. Got to be mad. They're a powerhouse. Everybody thought they might even finish in the top 5, being running for a national championship. And my gosh, you go up and play the Duke Blue Devils, a real powerhouse, and get beat. So they're going to be mad. And Virginia lost their opener at the Meadowlands to Notre Dame and won all the rest. So ought to be a dandy.
You bet. Second down here, the Cowboys trail with 4.5 to go in the ball game. Second down and 5 from the 40-yard line. I think they would just like to get a score and end this streak. Giants changed their defense, and Herschel Walker Gets the handoff and runs into the back of his own man initially. And then Pepper Johnson makes the play. Pepper Johnson from Ohio State.
Pepper got its shoulder in there. Finally got some contact. There's the explosion inside. Knocked off the... My gosh, he knocked off everything.
Herschel hit Nate Newton. May have knocked off a few pounds.
Really?
Which will get him under the limit. He was fine. Newton was that week, last week, for being overweight again.
Well, that's one way to get a coach's attention, you know, if you've lost your starting job, because if you lose your starting job, you don't get the big bucks at the end of the next contract. So you got to get the job back.
3rd and 5. 3:45 to go. Kelvin Martin starts left. Walsh across the middle. Kelvin Martin out of Boston College. He's got a Cowboy first down at the 23-yard line. Myron Guyton, number 29, catches up with him. A 15-yard gain. Pittsburgh makes it 2 in a row. Detroit is winless. And Minnesota rebounds. Wade Wilson replaced by Tommy Kramer. And Minnesota wins it. And Green Bay got 17 points in the 4th quarter to come from behind to beat Atlanta by 2. Packers playing pretty well. Buffalo wins over New England. Our score here 30-6 with 3 minutes to go. The Cowboys to go 0-4, the Giants to go 4-0. Blitz. Walker caught behind the line by Carl Banks.
Oh, the young rookie center, number 70, Strebnowski, standing. He just stood right there in that screen and had no idea what to do. As Walker caught the screen pass, Strebnowski's just standing still, and Walker gets set for, you know, gets knocked back for a loss. That's bad.
I could tell you weren't approval. You didn't approving.
Hard to approve that. You know, you get out there. Of course, the backs too have to holler go go. I know all that stuff too, but man, when you get outside as a lineman, you look forward to hitting somebody. He didn't hit anything.
Walsh, Walker, could be a touchdown. The streak is over. They've now scored in the second half. When you are 0-3 and about to go 0-4, you look for small jewels. There's also a Giant player injured back at the 38. 27-yard touchdown pass. Carl Banks is the injured Giant.
Banks, top left of your screen, coming in, gets just thrown to the ground or tackled, however you want to call it. I can't see exactly what happened, but Walker coming inside gets by Jackson 47, and this guy has Olympic sprinter speed, and there's no way anyone's going to catch him. They're not going to be able to close the door on Walker, who smells a touchdown, first one in the second half of this season for the Cowboys.
Carl Banks walked off unassisted and sits on the bench holding his right hip. Steve Walsh has just thrown his first touchdown pass in the National Football League. And it goes to Herschel Walker. Ruzek is good with the extra point.
Well, even if you get your first touchdown pass, one of the really nice things that's going to help Walsh forget this lick is the touchdown that Walker did. You want to be a quarterback, you have to stand your ground. Walsh doesn't really stand his ground, but he gets popped pretty good in a little bounce. First thing you do also is you get the head around to see. There you go. Absolutely. Hey, not bad by Walsh. Look at these numbers. 13, 24, 121 yards.
191.
I mean, 191 yards, 2 interceptions, and 1 touchdown, but not bad.
It comes with 2:03 remaining in the ball game. Steve Folsom walking behind Steve Walsh. 30-13 is the score. Let's get another update. Back to New York. Here's Brent.
Well, Verne, the Rams are alive. This was 3rd and 10 for Jim Everett, and he hits Flipper Anderson. They went to the 2-minute warning. They've hit another pass. Now with 1:20 to go, the Rams are down to the 25. Lansford warming up his leg on the sideline. 1:06 to go. Back to Verne.
All right, Brent, we'll keep you posted on what's going on with the Rams and the 49ers. Only one of those teams will be undefeated when play is over today.
Well, that had to be a great game. 2 3-0 teams in the same division, don't like one another, both fighting for the California Coast. You got to have the California Coast title. So Had to be a great game, and it's lived up to it.
Roger Ruzek getting to apparently attempt the onside kick. Here's his. Now, he doesn't get the bounce Michigan got in their game with UCLA. Wasn't that a great
That was the greatest onside kick I have ever seen. Stayed low all the way and really got to the player, bounced up in the air. Amazing.
2-minute warning. (30-13), Giants lead the Cowboys. They're on the verge of going 4-0 with Philadelphia and Washington coming up. And the Cowboys going 0-4 for the first time since 1963, when they lost their first 4 games and finished 4-10 for the year. Quarterback then a guy named Meredith, the wide receiver a guy named Frank Clark. And we've got 1:59 remaining now. Too Tall Jones. Buck Buchanan been the equipment manager for the Cowboys since 1973 over on the left-hand side. And now the Giants bring it back to play. Try and run out the clock, the final 2 minutes here. First down. Ingram starts in motion. Jeff Hofstadler hands it off. Lewis Tillman, and he's out to the 49-yard line and stopped. Well, you may have thought that Terry Bradshaw gave up throwing a football when he got rid of his Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, but not necessarily. This was this week in New York. Bradshaw on the streets of New York. That is Regis Philbin instead of Lynn Swan. And that's Kathy Lee to the right. And look at this, 50 yards complete. And then Philbin does a stiff arm on the van, thinks he's Cosby, goes to a nice throw.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, it felt good, Verne.
Did it really?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And Regis got pretty good hands. I was surprised for Notre Dame. He's pretty good hands.
Now, Greg Garrity thought he was the guy to catch your last pass.
That's right.
It's going to be Regis Philbin. That'll be wonderful. 1-10. Nice form. Tillman, left side. Ooh, nice form there, too. Down to the 34-yard line. Bill Bates with the tackle.
Guys kind of caught me on that one. We did.
You didn't realize when you went out there and threw that. That was pretty, what, 40 yards?
I think it was about 70. 70, 75 maybe. Into the wind.
Yeah. Philbin on a post pattern. Jimmy Johnson still looking for his first win. And he's got to go to Green Bay and face a very much improved Green Bay team next week. It doesn't get very easy for the Cowboys. First down, and they are not a very good football team. First down and 10. Tillman. And the clock is down to 16 seconds remaining in this ball game. So for the first time ever, the New York Giants have won back-to-back games at Texas Stadium. Bill Parcells once called this a house of voodoo. It's not anymore. Look at that. Keep your chin up. Nice gesture from Bill Parcells to Jimmy Johnson. And right now, let's go out to the West Coast, where Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts are on location, and the Rams are playing the 49ers. Here we go to Candlestick Park.